Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 452. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Sup, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo.
Adam Vale.
How you doing?
Brett Murdoch.
What up?
And Brian Manjoma.
What's up?
All right, people, we're back with another one. No time for hesitation. Let's get right into it. Villa Kyle starts us off. Can we get the panel's Starfield impressions after playing it for 1 week or two, especially Brett? By the way, Brett's rant last week was on the money. Let people enjoy whatever games they want to. Yeah, Brett, we got a lot of reactions to your rant last week. People liked it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And Brett, since you're already talking, what are your impressions of Starfield after 1 week?
I mean, it's one of those shock and awe. The internet got exactly what it said it was going to get. You know, I think it's settled in a little bit where people are kind of like, oh, this is what this game is, which I don't really personally get because I think it was always pretty clear what this game was. I think that I think that a lot of the noise is starting to be filtered out. I think we're seeing a lot of people for kind of what they're doing, which is just kicking sand and not necessarily knowing about stuff. I've seen it. I saw a fucking stream with God of War guy. Fucking
David Jaffe?
David Jaffe, there we go.
Yeah.
David Jaffe was like arguing with somebody over Starfield, and they're like, well, blah, 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 this should happen. And he's like, oh, so you're saying that in this quest, it should be A instead of V. And the person's like, yeah, exactly. And he's like, well, that's funny because A never existed in the fucking game. Like, on air, like, it's clear that some people are just hating. That being said, it is exactly what you would kind of think about, warts and all, although there's less warts than a normal Bethesda game, I think. Personally, I'm fucking loving this game. I will say this. I don't think it's my favorite Bethesda game. I don't think that this one is necessarily going to hit as hard as a Skyrim or an Elder Scrolls or a Fallout. For a couple small reasons. One is the fact that it doesn't have a VAT system. It's all gunplay, so there's kind of a casual audience that you're kind of eking out. This game isn't a girlfriend-friendly game necessarily. So that's a little tough, but other than that, I'm literally playing it right now. And I don't want to give any spoilers away or say anything about any kind of the plot line, but I will just say this: this game fucking vibed, man. I wish as well that somebody had taken this and mixed it with No Man's Sky and made the world's perfect game. But it's not that. That being said, I don't know what to say other than, hey man, it's a Bethesda game. You run around, there's a shit ton of dialogue, there's a shit ton of walking, there's some building, there's some customization stuff. It's a Bethesda game. And I just wish, I think like everybody else, you could say anything other than it's a Bethesda game. And I don't know how to quantify it. If any of you have any ideas, I love the fucking assistance because just being like, oh man, it's a Bethesda game. And people are like, what do you mean? You're like, it's a Bethesda game. I don't know what else to say, man.
And nothing else you can't say. It's just like when we tell people it's a Telltale's game. They should know that it's a point and click. That's what that is. And well, this is one of those Bethesda games. It's the same thing. If they've ever played one, then they know. If they haven't played one, then this shouldn't be their entry point into it. So there you go. That's it.
Yeah, Adam, you've been playing it, right?
Yeah, I've been playing it on and off, running around. It's a lot to do. I mean, thankfully, that one little tip that Brett told me about just pressing the X to get to mission and pressing X again just saved me a shitload of time. Because there's so much of like, they go into this menu, go into another one, see outside of the world, see outside of the galaxy, see outside of the world. I just want to go from here to here. Cut the bullshit.
By the way, I'm not surprised by this. Blitz, who's he doesn't like that whole it's a Bethesda game thing. He's asking, explain Bethesda game.
That's a lot of. All right, go ahead. You do.
No, Adam, I'll go after you.
No, the Bethesda thing is that there's a lot going on in the game. There's a lot of objects and items that you can pick up that are meaningless. And in most games, if you interact with something, there's a purpose. And it's not the case in Bethesda game. You could pick up a shitload of bottles and a shitload of paper clips and staplers, and it does absolutely nothing. So they could throw you off. You'll fill up. The fact that you have weight on you and you can't fast travel, can't do something. Oh, you got too much weight. It's like, oh, what the hell? There's a lot of interacting with different characters and side missions and big maps and locations to go do. A lot of traveling. And it's a world. It's a big world, and to me, that's the way I see it. Like Fallout. All the Fallout games, I knew what to expect after they took over from Sierra, and then once you started going down that road,
Jay Shep says what you're explaining isn't what people are complaining about.
And people are always going to complain about something. I think he's talking about bugs. Honestly, I haven't seen any bugs. But I've heard people saying they had issues. That's the other thing when people say it's a Bethesda game because it has issues. I haven't encountered them. If I did, I'd say, I went to this wall, or I took this gun out. Instead, I got a fucking.
What is explaining what a Bethesda game is correlate to people complaining about the game?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I guess you're looking for blood, but I don't understand the correlation between those 2 points. He's explaining the nature of a Bethesda game. What does that have to do with the things that people are complaining about? That's a separate conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it does sound like a separate conversation. I don't know where that came up. My question is,
has he also ever played a Bethesda game?
I was going to say, if you've played a Bethesda game, there's your answer.
Yeah.
Seriously,
there's a certain line of things that happen within a Bethesda game that are consistent, depending on what some things are slightly better, some things are slightly worse. There are usually the usual things that happen with an open world sort of game. Even Grand Theft Auto has its well-known issues that still plague the games, even years after.
Yeah.
But you falling through the world, or your car just flipping out and throwing you into the air for no reason because the physics went bad.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah. Jay Shep says, not bugs, empty storytelling, main quest not interesting. Okay, again, that's fine, but we were asked, can you explain what a Bethesda game is? That's a different conversation.
Okay, I want to jump on that, but putting a pin in the previous fucking thing, if you've never played a Bethesda game before, what it is it is a large open world adventure that is 100% thought out set dressing. Unlike other games, if there's a door, you can probably go in that door, and there's things in that door. There's a storeroom full of stuff, but the thing you kind of trade off is much like building a virtual world that actually lives and breathes and kind of works with you. That's kind of the holy grail of where the era that this game came from. Where they're we're going to try and do a game that does everything. So the result is, you can kick down someone's door, beat the shit out of them in their own living room, and then steal their milk. But that means you may just run around with 30 pounds of milk on you, and that's unnecessary. And you have to, learn to drop. There's a Bethesda game where I killed everybody and took their pants.
And the character that you stole the pants of stays with their pants off.
And they remember. Other characters remember your actions. I always remember in that Fallout Nuketown. Remember right at the beginning, and it's I went into one of the rooms. I'm oh, I could go in this room. I just started stealing shit. Somebody saw that, and they all chased me, and they called me a thief. Even later on, when I went to other towns and stuff, they were hey, that's that thief from Nuketown. I'm what the? They started spreading rumors. They don't forget.
Yeah. So it does something that a lot of games have tried to kind of do, but it takes it to the nth degree, and that's. A Bethesda game, you could say it's as wide as an ocean, it's as deep as a puddle. And that wide as an ocean draws a lot of people in. You're not limited to just your main story. It fully supports any ADHD side rants that you want to go on and get distracted by. You can set off and 5 hours later not have done the thing that you meant to do.
Oh yeah, there's some good stories. You probably already did this one. The woman in the bar, and she says she needs some materials, so she's telling you the story about she's building a drink, and there was some of her stuff that got mixed up with some other contraband. I was like, oh, do you want to help me out and get this? If not, whatever. And I was like, yeah, I'll try to help her out. And then it's like, how do you do it? There's multiple ways you can go about doing it. I decided to become an officer and see if I can sneak in that way. I mean, that's fun. That to me, I found that fun as a fun side mission. I don't see that as empty.
It is. So here's what I'd say. Like, a Bethesda game, when we say a Bethesda game, it's kind of like saying, the shit that Cyberpunk does. Like, what makes Cyberpunk special? Well, it's a large, in-depth, living, breathing world that seems connected with characters and things that matter more so than other games, right? Like, we can't compare every game to Baldur's Gate. We've already been through this. And Baldur's Gate takes a really cool density approach. They don't give you very much. They give you a city and some surrounding areas and stuff like that, but you can do a million things in it. And we can absolutely have the conversation of this style of gameplay and storytelling versus that style. That's a legitimate conversation, but this is still a legitimate style of game that a lot of people like. And No Man's Sky tried to do it. Cyberpunk tries to do it. It's not an unknown thing to be like, hey, some games try to do like a deep role-playing thing where you can go wherever you want, do whatever you want, in a world that feels real. Like, that's the mission statement. A lot of video games do that, but Bethesda's the only one that does it so well to the point where they're like, yeah, if you want to, figure out somebody's cleaning supply closet and steal all their shit, that's your prerogative, man. And giving the players that amount of control is something a lot of players like, myself included. Like, I hate fake doors. I fucking hate fake doors. Like, why is there a building here with a door that I can't open? That just seems weird to me. And I'm so much happier if you're like, yeah, you can open that door. There's nothing in there. That's fine. I'll expect there to be something everywhere I go. But just having it, like, not be able to do that, it makes things feel like a set dressing. So the opposite of that is also true. Having something you can pretty much interact with anything you want makes it feel like a real world. And that kind of really, as I've said before, like it passes the vibe check, man. Like, it makes it feel like you have an impact or can directly interact with this world without those kind of layers of what am I supposed to be doing? So yeah, I guess that's the best way I can describe a Bethesda game. Super wide, open choice, as close to a living, breathing, functioning world as you can get. Okay, best way I can do it.
A lot of options.
Yeah, when they did it, was I think it was Skyrim or something like that. Their whole point was NPCs have a schedule. They go, they wake up, they eat breakfast, they walk to work, they interact with each other, they walk home. They have a life that they live. They don't just stand around a house waiting for you to show up so that you can talk to them. And this is the natural evolution of that idea, right? Like, so not only do people have a schedule, but they're trying to build a world that feels real. And they do a better job than anybody else I know. So we can talk about shallow gameplay or storyline or plot or whatever. Like, we can talk about that shit, but that's separate. Why is it such a conundrum? Why can nobody actually put a pin in this is what Bethesda games are?
Yeah. Anyway, we're kind of going in circles right now. Anybody else played Starfield and want to share your thoughts?
Yeah. I'm really enjoying it. It's I'm 30 something hours into the game. I still haven't beaten the main storyline yet because the thing that I like about going back to the whole Bethesda thing, it's like, oh, what makes a Bethesda game? For me, it's always been the missions that you stumble upon randomly, and they're like, oh damn, and turn out to be better than the main missions. The main mission stories aren't the greatest thing ever. Shit, Spider-Man Spider-Man story is bare bones. So the whole thing with Starfield is, it's like the other Bethesda games. You stumble across a random town somewhere, and somehow a mission pops up, and someone's saying, "Hey, I need help with this," and it just opens up to a new thing where you don't expect to deviate for 5 hours, trying to do something that's completely unrelated to the main task at hand. And yeah, that's what I've been doing a lot. Been doing a lot of faction missions. I just completed one of the big faction missions, and it's great, man. The shooting mechanics are greatly improved on this game as opposed to other Bethesda games, especially Fallout. But Fallout is understandable because it has VATS, so it kind of relies on that. And I think most people prefer to play using the VAT system. It does have a lot of, and we've talked about this, the whole Bethesda jank, where a lot of kind of weird glitchy things that are always pop up. Your character, sometimes what sucks about the game is it's happened to me a couple of times where you're in a small ship and you have 2 crew members and they're standing beside the entrance and you can't go through. You're like, yo, I'm trying to board.
The robot does that shit all the time.
Yeah, the robot does that a lot. Yeah. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff, and yeah, a lot of great times for that game, and it's time consuming. There's a lot of things to do. I don't know if there's people that exist that do everything, because if you want to do settlement building, if you want to do ship building, if you want to do all the side stories and everything, it takes a lot of time. Finding all the settled systems and traversing through all of them and seeing what's inside, it's ridiculous. So yeah, been enjoying it.
Cool. Brian, I know you've been playing it too.
Yeah, there's not really much to add. I think the only thing that I would add to it is the idea that you can actually write your own story in the game, as in you can follow whatever quest line you want based on whatever type of story you want to write. So, for example, I'm playing as a bounty hunter because why not? So I tend to be sticking to storylines and ideas that can make my bounty hunting even easier. So I'm kind of like a morally unjust bounty hunter. So I'll find out rogue ships and then I'd loot from them and then I'd take whatever contraband they have and then I'd collect the bounty on the ship and then sell that contraband. Because again, money makes my world go round. And that's kind of the fun of it. Like you can do that. It's not like the game is forcing you to say, okay, this is how you have to play. Like, no, you can play however you kind of want to play. And that's quite interesting. I mean, it's one of the few games where you can actually play a role, and it's not just an RPG for set dressing. It's like, no, you can actually play as a role in this game and do things in that sense, And I think that's also like one of the hallmarks of a Bethesda game. It's like, okay, there is a central quest line and you can follow it, or you can follow your own quest line. You can join different factions, go down their quest line. Often factions compete with each other based on their ideals.
And you have to make decisions.
Yeah, you can make decisions. You can have companions, and companions, they have their own ideals. So you can do things to make them happy, do things to make them upset. For example, I think it's Sarah Morgan. She's very much the Guru Two Shoes, so all decisions must be, to make her happy, you make really good decisions. You help people. Whereas other characters, I don't know who yet, if you kill people, I'm sure that they'll like it because that's their character traits. So you can find a companion that gels with your style, And again, that's one of the hallmarks of Bethesda games. I'm sure Brett would agree with that.
Yeah. Being able to just go and fuck off and do your own thing, I think is the biggest. Like, yeah, that's Bethesda game.
Yeah. You go ahead.
One of the things that I will say, into the detriment of some of the stuff with the main mission, there are some kind of redundant things about the main mission, and it just makes it better. Like they're sort of like Bethesda, like, yeah, just do whatever, because that whatever is a lot better than most of the stuff that we, curated for the main experience.
Yeah. Chris, have you played Starfield?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay, cool. All right, I think that's everybody there. Good stuff. Moving on, next question. Mr. J. Shep, who's also joining us in the chat tonight. This is going to start off like a couple of Spider-Man / PlayStation related questions. By the way, Mandy, that's the featured image for that. Find something Spider-Man related.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, he's the man with the plan. He's the Spider-Mans. All right, first question here. I was under the impression that the Starfield release was going to be big enough to overshadow Spider-Man 2, but it already looks like that won't be the case. I know Spider-Man 2 is a household name, but how big are you guys expecting the Spider-Man 2 release to be as far as sales, social media, news cycles, etc.? It's Spider-Man, PlayStation exclusive. It's going to be fucking huge,
Yeah, it's Spider-Man. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, remember, Spider-Man 1 is like, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, I believe it's the best-selling PlayStation exclusive of like the last couple of years. So this is a sequel to that. It's going to be fucking big, I do find what you said there, J. Shep, kind of interesting, because I've been saying this for months. I'm like, Starfield is not going to overshadow Spider-Man. This is fucking Spider-Man. The biggest superhero like on Earth, like probably be after Batman or something, And the last game was fucking dope. Again, best-selling PlayStation exclusive. So this is going to be big.
What did it sell, like over 10 million copies?
Yeah,
easily?
yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of copies. So yeah, this is a no-brainer. This is going to be fucking huge. It's going to be all over the place, man. So get ready for that. Again, think about this: how big this game's going to be. Think about it. For the PlayStation Showcase, which we will talk about in a bit. They literally said indies and third parties, and they were like, "Oh, just get a little Spider-Man in there," because they know people are ready for that shit. Sold over 20 million on PlayStation 4. Yeah, there you go, man. Huge. So I expect this game to be just as big, maybe even bigger. Who knows? Spider-Man 2 was also called niche because people thought God of War was going to overshadow. Niche? That game sold 20 million copies. That shit ain't niche. They're fucking stupid.
I don't know anybody would have thought.
Let's go back. Hold on. Think about this phrase. Spider-Man is a niche game.
That's not.
That doesn't even make any fucking sense. So yeah, no. They aim to blow. Like success is a given. Yeah. All right. We don't need to go further. That Spider-Man's going to be fucking huge. Unless somebody else wants to jump in. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't doubt that it's going to be successful, given the fact that it is Spider-Man. But I think it'll be like just another one of those exclusives where it's in the headlines for maybe like 2 weeks, and then after that, pretty much no one will talk about it afterwards.
I agree with
because
that.
I notice that tends to happen like a lot with big exclusives. Like they get lots of pump behind the scenes. Like, okay, get pumped. Yeah, everyone wants to play it. Everyone wants to enjoy it. They play it for 2 weeks or a week or so, and then it's just nothing. You don't hear anything about it afterwards. And I think the fact that there's not much in the way of, again, this is not a comparison, but it kind of ends up being one. Like, there's not much in the way of doing other stuff outside of the main storyline that you can show. So after everyone's done that, then there won't be much to show off afterwards. Whereas with stuff like Skyrim or Starfield or Breath of the Wild, it's like, okay, people will find cool videos that they can do. It's like, hey, look at me, I'm stealing these things by moving them off the floor or something. Or I created this build of this ship that's really dumb and makes no sense. Like, there'll be that weird social media just continuation to promote. So I think Starfield will be the game that will last longer in the eyes of the public and social media and stuff like that. But Spider-Man will just be more explosive for those 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And as far as Brian, I agree with everything you said, but you also need to add that Spider-Man will obviously be just like the last game, because after 2 weeks, you're right, everybody stopped talking about it, but it still went out to be the best-selling PlayStation exclusive. So I predict the same thing could happen. You get 2 weeks of like awesome, big action, and then it's just going to sell, because like you're a first-time PlayStation buyer. What are you buying? You buying that motherfucking Spider-Man, So yeah, so it's going to be like no one's going to talk about it after the fact. Maybe it'll get a little bit more buzz during the Game of the Year awards, although I still think it's probably going to be between Starfield and Baldur's Gate for Game of the Year. Probably won't be Spider-Man, but Spider-Man will outsell those games. I guarantee that, just because it's Spider-Man, you know?
It's an easy gift idea. I mean, that's it. No brainer. It's like, oh, new game for my kid for his, what's coming out? Oh,
Spider-Man. That's it. Yeah.
That's it. You don't even have to think about it.
Spider-Man has the double-edged sword, too, of like, it's an established, successful IP. So it has the good of like, oh, it's Spider-Man. I'm really looking forward to another Spider-Man. We know what we're going to get is good. But the bad side is like, it's not groundbreaking. It's another Spider. You know what I mean? Like it makes it tougher for it to be news because it's a sequel, no matter how good.
I agree with that. But general audiences won't care. They're going to buy it because it's Spider-Man. You know?
Is it just on 5 or is it also?
Well, yeah, but like
on 5,
I got the nature of the question seemed to be like, how big of an impact is this going to make? Not like there's going to be a ton of people that buy it, play it, and enjoy it. And I mean, everybody who buys it is going, or everybody who plays it is going to enjoy it. It's a good fucking game. We've played the previous one, but like, if we're talking about social impact and like, you know, how hard is this going to land in the gaming sphere? Like, not that much. It's a sequel, man.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, again, I think it's just going to be like, it's going to be the best-selling game out of all these. But you're right. As far as like cultural impact, not that much. Just for a couple of weeks and that's it. It'll just be a steady seller just because it's Spider-Man. You know,
it's the General Hospital of gaming.
Yeah. Oh man.
By the way, I pulled up this article from 2022 where it said Marvel Spider-Man PlayStation sales reached 33 million as of May, and that's Miles Morales, that's Spider-Man on PS4 and PS5,
and the remastered version.
The remastered version. Probably, exactly.
So 33 million, man, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I think that's the only controversy that'll probably happen or pop up during the holiday is that it's just for PS5. And so then you may see people scrambling. Well, then I guess this is going to be an expensive purchase because then you have to buy the PS5. Because there's still a lot of people that just casuals that have no plans on buying it. They're like, nothing, I don't really need it because all the sport games are already on everything. Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But once that Spider-Man comes, it's like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, but thankfully, PlayStation 5 is actually easy to get now, and not like before.
Oh no, that's easy to get, but it's a bigger purchase than just buying a game.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it probably will be a system seller for those people. So
by the way, I mean it's a system seller on the Throwdown panel.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. Manny's buying a shit for Spider-Man specifically. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there you go.
Did you get it? I sent you that link. Did you do it? They had it in stock. Remember, you were like, "Oh, I can't find it in stock," and that was in stock in cart. I sent you
the
Spider-Man
Amazon
bundle
thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't get it.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Moving on here. Another one from Jay Shep. The PlayStation Showcase showed me exactly what I expected them to show, and because of that, I'm a little disappointed. We live in a gaming world where we're constantly told to lower our expectations, and if we want more, then we as gamers are the problem. Be blunt with me. Is this what I should expect from PS showcases moving forward? I'll be extra blunt with you. This is what you should have expected these for years. I've been telling you this shit for years now. Lower your expectations for any of these fucking things. And here's the thing. I'll say this. This PlayStation Direct one that happened, you were disappointed by it. It's one of the better ones, which is kind of bad because most of these are pretty shit. They've always been shit from the get-go. You should always lower your expectations, not only for this, but any of these showcases. Because what happens is people go in there thinking they're going to get like megatons after megatons after megatons. That never ends up happening, especially nowadays with this boring-ass generation, and people are disappointed. Always lower your expectations for these things. Only get excited when you actually see something. You know, don't go in there thinking you're going to get something crazy beforehand because you're probably going to be disappointed. Again, I've been telling you guys this shit for years, especially this fucking whack-ass generation. You know, so yeah, it's not a moving forward thing. You should have always been doing that from the get-go. Don't get excited about this stuff. Wait until they actually show something, then maybe get excited about what you see, but don't get pre-excited because you're just going to be fucking disappointed, bro. That's just how it is. So yeah. I'm going to read this one because it's kind of related. Kind of the counterbalance here. Kiss Shack.
Do it.
I feel like calling out some people in Discord who are disappointed that PlayStation isn't showing enough of its first-party games for 2024. Oh. Whoa, shit, damn! But he said he's playing devil's advocate here. Why should Sony show footage of games if the developers don't feel like they're ready for the public to see? You only have one shot for first impressions, and the last thing I want to be shown is something subpar or not exciting enough, especially if it's a new single-player IP. E3 of 2015 and 2016 PlayStation was Sony unloading everything in development to the public, and for the rest of the generation, they showed the exact same games over again. Do you really want that again? Yeah, great point there, because remember, those two E3 specifically were fucking blowout for PlayStation. Like, holy shit, this is crazy. You know, Manny and I, we were there for both of those, you know? And then for 3 years after that, you didn't get shit but those same fucking games, you know? So I think now, because of that and, you know, the cyberpunk situation, you know, they're like, well, let's lower this shit. Let's just show whatever is like, kind of going to be coming, because Sony used to love doing that shit. Here's a game that's coming out 6 years after the fact, you know. So now they're tamping down on that, which I think is good. But at the same time, it leads to you not being excited about shit. But it goes back to my other point: stop being excited about shit. Then you can't be disappointed, you know. But yeah, some interesting stuff going on there in the Discord specifically. People are disappointed. The people's like, yo, you don't want them to blow their whole load, you know, because I'm pretty sure Sony does have a bunch of stuff in development, but it may not be ready for prime time yet, you know. So I don't know. I don't know what people want, man. It's like, actually, I do know what people want. They want megaton after megaton for every single event. That's not realistic, people, you know. And I don't know where the hell this comes from, but you see it all the time on social media. Every single time, right? One of these showcases is announced. People go crazy with the expectations. Oh, we're going to get this, we're going to get that. The company will literally tell you, this showcase is just going to be indies. Oh, man, they're going to show some first-party shit, aren't they? They just told you what they're showing you, but you still get hyped, you know? You still get fucking hyped for this shit. You are disappointing yourself by doing that nonsense. You know, but it happens all the time, man. You know what? Let me stop ranting, because I could go off on this shit forever, man.
You need to play sport games. Play some sport games, because those are all year round. The season's going on. You follow the season. You play the game, and you don't even think about all the other bullshit. If other games come in, that's a bonus. But just play some sport games. That's fun. Or Call of Duty. It's just mindless. Just go into it, enjoy it, and then go outside and play with your friends.
Like this last Nintendo. Go ahead, Bray. Go ahead.
I was laughing at Adams like, go touch grass.
That's it, exactly. This is real. Mama was right. Okay, and then just go back.
You know, or you know, again, the Nintendo Direct happened this week, right? Nintendo literally told you we're showing you software that's coming to Switch this year. They told you this. Motherfuckers were upset they didn't show the Switch too. What are we doing?
I blame you too, because of all the clickbait of Switch 2 leaks, click here, and all said the same thing. Oh, they're gonna definitely show it off, and it's all clickbait. It's bullshit. Who's spreading these rumors? These are just fucking people looking for clicks. Nintendo never told you this shit. Like you said, they said
I already see the
software.
They said software a million times software, but you're right. And Adam, I see those fucking thumbnails in my head.
Oh yeah.
Switch 2 reveal, you know?
I give it a down review before I don't even bother. I just go in just to give it down, because I know it's bullshit. It's all bullshit.
You give it down votes.
All the time. All of it. I don't even bother, because I know it's bullshit.
You know, RGT 85, down vote,
he
motherfucker.
Gets a down vote. Man, motherfucker, man. I don't understand. I do understand. It's all about money. And he even says it in his little...
The fucking YouTube face and shit, you know?
He switched off and he turned into clickbait. He just went full clickbait. And I get it. He's got shit. But fuck that. I'm sorry. Downvote or block. And I try to remove it. If they keep doing like Spawn Wave, block that motherfucker. They keep putting him in my shit. I keep putting down votes until they say, you know what? You're right. You don't want to see this shit. Good. Thank you. Remove it.
Yeah. Jay Shep shows this is so funny. Me personally, I knew they wasn't going to show anything to excite me, and they didn't show anything exciting. So because they kept their promise, I should be happy. No one's saying you should be happy. I'm saying lower your fucking expectations, man. As a matter of fact, do what I do. Do what I do. Expect complete and utter shit. So when they show something good, you're actually happy about that. Do what I do. But yeah, no one's saying you should be happy about that, bro. You know?
Don't go digging.
I inherently disagree with that point.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying that's what I do, you know? And that's my general kind of life rule. Like, just expect the absolute worst. So when things actually don't turn out that bad, you won't be as disappointed, you know?
That is a good pessimist approach. I'm just saying it's not the only one.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's why I said me, Tony. That's what I do, you know? If Twitter had downvotes, Adam would definitely use that. Yep. Downvote, man.
Downvote.
God, that's Twitter fucking needs that shit.
Oh yeah.
But like, here's the thing I'll say. Like, I'm having trouble getting a beat on like what people mean when they say, you know, what should they expect, kind of thing. Like, I'm not sure what you guys are expecting. The thing that I would leave with is just kind of, you know, maybe expect the things that they tell you to expect and not fill in the blanks so much.
Yeah, never fill
yourself,
in the blanks.
because that's the problem. Is the filling the blanks is the problem. Starfield, perfect example. They're like, it's a Bethesda game. It's No Man's Sky? No, it's a Bethesda game. So it's No Man's Sky. No.
The worst for these is like, oh, well, the rumor was, well, who started this fucking rumor? Stop with the rumor. Well, it doesn't matter. The rumor doesn't mean it's true. It's just that. It's not a person. It's not the rumor said. Well, that's a rumor. I could start some my own fucking rumor. You know, this alien's coming back from Mexico and they're all alive. They're not just dead. That's my own damn rumor. You know what I mean? So you can't just say, well, because there's a rumor. No, if the publisher comes out and says, hey, this is what we're going to be talking about, and you don't see it there, do not expect it to be there. There's no reason for them to pull a surprise. Guess what else? No.
Yeah.
Good example. Adam, you got into an accident. I hear / expect you've got a cyborg arm, and how's your cyborg arm? And I'm going to be really disappointed if it's not a really cool cyborg arm. And you could sit here and be like, nobody said I'm getting a cyborg arm. And I'm like, wow, rumor says. I heard I was getting a cyborg arm. I'm just going to be really disappointed if it doesn't have a missile launcher in it.
Right.
Yeah. Jason says, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm just telling you.
That should be PlayStation's motto.
Yeah, exactly. But again, if you don't want to be, you know, disappointed in the future, do what your boy Tony does. You know? Oh, man.
Okay, I also want to throw out there, man, like, this is that kind of drought, man. Like, we've talked about it before, about how when they kind of switch to only announcing games that are fairly far in development, like that shift happened, and at some point everybody's going to have to kind of, you know, take their lumps and say that we don't really have anything in the next couple of years. Like this, that's what this is, right? Like this is this is an expected thing. This is Sony's got to have something phase. It'll go on for like 2 years. We've been saying that. We've watched the cloud cover come in from all the way across the horizon. Now it gets here, and people are like, "Oh my god, it's storming!" Like, yeah, it's this is a thing that's going to happen, man. They're not telling you about games 8 years into their development cycle, so there's going to be a point where they just don't have much because they have to keep it all mum. That doesn't mean that there's any less games coming down that development train. It just means that the way that we've started announcing and talking about this has changed, and there's going to be some hiccups until then. This is that hiccup. Don't freak out. It's not like the end of gaming or
not like Hollywood. We don't have the writers and the actors on, you know, strike and all that with developers. If it was that case, then yes, that would be harmful for the next year. But that's not. There's no strikes in the gaming industry as of yet. Knock on wood.
Well, that's the they ain't striking, they crunching.
They
crunching.
There we go. J-Ship says, if I told you I'm going to bring you a burger, you won't expect steak, but you at least want a good burger. Okay, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah, I mean, well, then it's on you. Then why did you try to give me a shitty burger? I would think you would want to bring me a good burger. I'm like, yo, can I get a burger? Oh, I'm going to give you a burger. And then you bring me some.
No, he's talking about like Sony. He expected Sony to give him a good burger.
Well, when Sony announces a state of play or Nintendo announces a direct or Microsoft, I don't know what they do. Whenever these companies announce these dates, you gotta temper your expectations, like Tony mentioned. It's like you're getting in a loot box essentially. You're like, you don't know what the hell you're gonna get. It could be anything.
That's a good way of saying it's a loot box. It might be good, it might be shit. You don't know.
People like that.
It's like Schrodinger's cat, you know. You don't know.
Schrodinger's cat.
You know, it's the uncertainty. I don't know what's going to happen here. You know.
And as usual, go ahead.
No, I mean that was the whole thing. That was like with loot boxes. It was like, why do people buy shit? They like not knowing what they're getting. They'll pay for it because they like the surprise. So the people should be happy under that logic. It's like, oh, I don't know.
And by the way, some people, you know, it might be you, it might not be me or anyone else in this panel, but there are people who get dumb excited for the dumbest things. You saw the reaction to a lot of the Nintendo stuff. People were losing their minds with F-Zero.
And stuff, yeah.
The F-Zero stuff, it's like, why are people losing their minds over this bullshit?
Fucking
It's
idiots.
not even a new game. It's one of those 99 type.
Yeah, but it's Nintendo fans. What do you expect? You know, you show them anything. Oh my god! You know. So yeah, they're built different. So you know, whatever.
I mean, say what you want about that cult. They seem happy from the outside. Like Nintendo fans, like you always eating, you always happy. I could only talk so much shit because I don't know. Like man. One of these days, maybe I'll drink the Kool-Aid. I want to be that happy.
Blitz says, fuck you to me. No, but literally, I just imagine like Nintendo fans, and I know I got this from some cartoon or something, like just staring at a blank wall and going, like that's what I imagine Nintendo fans. Just put anything. Oh, look at the colors, you know? Oh, man.
How do you think all Nintendo fans are Patrick from SpongeBob?
Logic Win says, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, this is why Microsoft grabbing Activision will be the catalyst that wakes PlayStation up. That's an interesting take.
It's quite possible.
Yeah,
I'm hoping so. That's the ultimate end goal here. It's like, all right, let's rev up the whole trying thing on both sides.
Yeah. All right. The next question from Mob Hits related to this. What's with PlayStation fanboys insisting that Sony still has stuff to show for this year? We're at the 10th month mark and nada. Do you all think we might still see something from Sony this year, or is the dream dead? Yeah, the year's fucking over. You know.
The only thing, and they, I don't think they did anything last year. If I remember, or maybe it was the year before, but. The video game awards. That's the only time, because they have Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a heavy hitter, and they're satisfied with just ending the year just with that game.
Yep.
Because financially, it makes just sense to do that. But they might announce something in the video game awards.
Yeah, but Carlos,
year.
but that's the thing for next year. Like he's talking about he says that some people are saying that Sony's going to drop something this year. Well, they're not. No, they're not. You know,
Spider-Man, and that's it.
That's it. That's all you're getting, man. You know.
I wish I could. I was looking for it. I already lost this shit. Remember that wooden Game Boy that we picked up today?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was like, if Nintendo would announce this, a wooden Game Boy. You can't even play it, but it looks beautiful.
But it looks nice. It looks nice.
It looks
very nice.
Over it. I mean, I was like, this is amazing. I'm sure Nintendo did, but I only paid $20. I'm sure Nintendo charged $200 for something made out of wood.
See, yeah. By the way, UI Crazy. I believe that's your first time. Person hanging out here. Welcome. And he says, I'm okay with that. All I need is Spider-Man. There you go, brother. There you go.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Even with the sport game, people are like, oh, I get the new one. I get to play it all year. I'm okay. Yeah. They got no features. I play with my buddies. Yeah, if Spider-Man's your gem, then that's it. That's all you need.
There you go, man. That's all you need.
I mean, I think the one thing about I feel like the era of Sony just popping a crazy game out of nowhere is sort of over. And now they're in the. To be honest, they're very similar to the way Xbox was at their height, when they did have their height. There wasn't really any sort of innovation. There was, as expected, sort of titles. And then, they had their third parties. And that's the way it seems like right now, where it's like, okay, yeah, you're going to get a Spider-Man, you're going to get a Wolverine, but you're not going to get any of the other fun first parties from Sony. And in fact, these days, PlayStation seems to be more interested in the multiplayer market. How many multiplayer games did they say that they had in production?
10 games as a service games.
Yeah. So, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also Blitz brings up a good point. Final Fantasy Rebirth is they're going to be their equivalent of like their game.
It's their somewhat first party there. So there you go.
Yeah, a little bit of a segue here. I forgot which one of you guys asked this last week about if any of your saves will roll over from Final Fantasy Remake to new one. The answer is no. The answer is no.
Of course not.
So your abilities and levels from Final Fantasy VII Remake won't carry over to Rebirth, but you will get some bonuses having save data. So there you go. Not surprised.
Bullshit.
Not surprised.
Boo.
Boo.
Not surprised.
Almost makes you gaining levels a waste of time in that other one.
Yeah,
I just wish they could figure out that technology that lets them do that.
Oh no, they have that. They have that ability.
No, Mass Effect never happened, man.
You can you can.
Well, Mass Effect reset your shit too.
Well, no, they didn't. It did read your
from one. No, it reset all your abilities from 1 to 2 specifically.
Because they had new abilities, but they at least kept your decisions out.
Oh yeah, but I'm talking about your levels got all reset. I'm talking about just
the fact that you need to earn all these abilities again. I mean, maybe they'll give you some of them already. Hey, look, Cloud still has Kira or whatever.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's sort of sucks because they can't do that.
Yeah, not unexpected though.
It's not unexpected. It's modern gaming, which is unfortunate.
It just be
you literally took one game and you split it into 3 parts, right? Which is the 3 discs, and you can't get those things to work together.
Yeah.
All right, moving on here. Another question from Mophead Soso about Spider-Man. Why is there a lack of hype for Spider-Man? Is that the case? You guys feel that way?
Fake news.
Yeah, I see a lot of hype for this game.
There's a genuine hype for it, but I feel like it's never going to be the fever pitch that the first one was.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's a sequel,
And then not to mention, it's like, how different can a Spider-Man 2 be from Spider-Man 1? You've already set the bar, right?
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of the people that are asking these types of questions is a direct reaction from the whole Starfield thing, because it had so much hype, negative and positive, because of the fanboy wars, and I feel like Spider-Man isn't going to have as much to that. So less people are going to be talking about Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is not a controversial statement.
But give it time, though. Remember, we had Puddlegate. Actually, let me jump right into that, because that's the next question that's related to this. Kiss Shack goes, will there be something even dumber than Puddlegate when Spider-Man 2 releases? I don't know about dumber, but we will see something. We already had reused animation gates, reused map gate, so we already had that. So something will pop up either before the game or probably after the game. Like, oh, this happens. Something will happen. There is no exclusive, I guess, release without some fanboy controversy. So expect it.
We can admit, though, we can agree that it's not going to be to the extent of Starfield, because Starfield just got a barrage of either praise or criticism before it came out.
Starfield is like a direct reaction to Spider-Man, in the sense that, at least in my opinion, so you get Spider-Man coming out. It's an awesome game, but it's a sequel. There's not a lot to say about it. There's not a lot of bullet points or arguing points to hit. So fanboys, instead of being like, well, Spider-Man can do this, they just kind of look down, don't really have an argument, and then start digging on Starfield instead, which creates a controversial, kind of loop with Starfield. Like, I think it's one of the reasons we're seeing so much hype for Starfield is it's just tough to praise Spider-Man because it's a game you've already played. And so when people don't have an argument pro, they kind of just default to argument con. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the lack of anything to be able to talk about Spider-Man is kind of, in my opinion, some of the reason you're hearing so much shit talk on Starfield, because for some reason people have it in their brains that, like, I get that they're kind of competing, but they have it in their brains that, like, only one of these games can be successful because they are direct competition, which is totally not the case. It's not like you have to put one game down in order for the other game to be good. But people seem to feel that way.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they kind of cater to two different audiences in a way. I will say this though. Another thing that weirdly benefited Starfield, at least as far as like attention, is the fact that I'm just gonna say it. People always get very upset when Xbox gets a win, and this is probably the biggest win Xbox has had in years. So that adds to that controversy too. You know, there was just something Spider-Man won't get because that's already expected to be a hit. With this one, Starfield, I mean, that was expected to be a hit too, but people don't like the fact when Xbox gets a win, so you got to add that in there as well. You know. All right, moving on here. All right, that's all the Spider-Man and PlayStation stuff. Moving on, Villa Kyle. Both of these questions are about games we've played. Have any of you guys played Mortal Kombat 1? No. Have not played it. Anyone on the panel? Mortal Kombat 1?
It came out?
Yeah, it came out. Yeah, came out.
Oh, shit.
No. I seen the voice acting and I was like, no, thank you.
And the other question is, has anyone played Lies of P? I didn't know Lies of P was out.
Oh, yeah. I did see that one come out because I had to download it automatically on my Xbox thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was that on the 19th.
Oh, wow. Wait, today's the 17th, though. I'm confused.
Hence why I'm confused.
Don't you pre-order? It didn't have one of those type of things. Like if you pre-order whatever, you get to play it early. Like if you actually
maybe that's what it is.
Like the Starfield situation. I thought I had something like that because I saw a lot.
I don't like that being a normal thing. I'm not happy with this.
Well, that's the whole thing, and we the whole thing where we talked about Game Pass, where it's like, how are they going to make money? It's like they know that at least at this current time, it might not be as sustainable to do just a straight up streaming or just a straight up subscription. They're doing these. Well, you can play it 5 days earlier if you pay $100 for this.
But it's a combo thing because they come, at least with the Starfield one, that comes with potential DLC. You know, it's like, oh, you're already buying like the season pass, whatever, by doing this. Plus, you get it for a few days early to get to play. So, but let's say you have no intention of getting that DLC. You know, it's like you're sort of tying into that. Like, do you really want to do it? And it wasn't just them. Diablo. I remember Diablo did the same thing. And I fucking jumped in on that and forgetting that I was taking a trip that week. And so I did it. I only played once, and then that was it. I didn't really utilize any of that time because I was out of. So
that was your trip.
Yeah, that was a waste.
All right. Regardless, nobody in the panel has played Lies of P or Mortal Kombat. So there's your answers.
I want to play Lies of P, but I don't think I'll be able to play this year. There's just so many games, man.
Dude,
so many damn games.
I think it's a good example of a positive or like a win for a game being on Game Pass. Like, it is a tragic time to try and release a game for Lies of P. There's just so much coming out. I think it'll really benefit from being on Game Pass because it'll kind of be slotted into a lot of people's libraries to, I'll play this later when I'm done with these huge games.
I think it would have benefited more if it was released at a different time.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's more true, yeah. But
it's plenty of content. I mean, the fact it's on there, it's like, all right, fucking then I'll play when they, unless they pull it, but they'll give you a heads up. But yeah, it's just too much right now.
Yeah,
and it's gotten pretty decent reviews, so at least it's not a clunker.
That's good.
Critically.
Fake game. We're fake. Yeah, we are fake gamers, man. We don't play games.
Oh yeah, we're fake gaming neutral gamers.
Yeah, fake gaming neutral gamers. All right, moving on here. Ace Ali, he is picking up a Jay Shep question. Thank you for sponsoring that. I like this. As predicted by Miss Cleo, aka Carlos, it looks like Apple might be the next big gaming industry player. Can the panel predict Apple's gaming moves over the next 10 years? That's a big stretch of time, man.
That might even be too much for Miss Cleo.
Yeah, right. This is too much right there.
I don't know what to say. Give me but for a price of $10 million,
I'll tell you this much: by that time, we'll probably have like 10 cameras on the back of the fucking thing. It's just all they keep doing is adding more and more cameras. I don't need a whole back panel.
Man, you look how many we got right now.
And I think I only use one. You know what I mean? Just That's it. I don't need all the other bullshit. You know what I want? They're like, oh, we're so advanced. We can do this. You can play games. And then I'm like, oh, you see my fingers? I don't give a shit. What I want is when I press a button, I want to see the hologram projection and FaceTime pop up in front of me. That's what I want. Can you do that? Can they put a camera to do that tilt? So that way when it's a FaceTime, I could have my phone flat, but then it still projects the image up. Do you know what I mean? Like almost like in Star Wars, but not take the whole body because that makes no damn sense. But just the face. You're already scanning the face into the phone and project it up like in a hologram. That would be awesome.
Adam. So do you want?
Everybody
do you
would
want
still be
that
texting.
Do you want that to be combined with the full bodysuit so someone can punch you and stuff and do physical? Pushing and stuff like that.
Could get pretty erotic if you think about doing that.
There's different suits for different occasions.
There you go, different suits, and it all costs. I know we've seen that movie, Ready Player One. There you go.
Yeah. By the way, am I wrong to think that the underlying question is, will Apple release a console? I feel like that's the actual question Jay Shep is asking here. My answer is no. I don't think they will.
But
not in the traditional sense.
It makes no sense.
Steam is making a console. You saw that? Steam is making one.
They do. It's called the Steam Deck.
No, there's actually a box for the TV.
Steam box.
Yeah, another Steam box. They're bringing it back for the holidays. I'll find the report.
Yeah,
great. Here we go.
The whole thing with Apple, it's like they're not going to release a traditional console. That seems kind of ridiculous. I mean, they could do it. They can implement it in their Apple TVs, which they do. There are set-top boxes that they currently release. They could put one of their highly advanced M3 chips, M3 Ultras or whatever. And, every year, like Apple is doing that. And I've been seeing this I've been reading the tea leaves, as Chris would say, for years now. They've gotten into so many industries, including the film and TV production industry. And they're already thriving because they release a lot of stuff that, gets subscribers for Apple TV subscription services. I'm pretty sure gaming is next. And they've been advertising it for years now. They always make reference, we're increasing the GPU by this much. It's like, why are you increasing the GPU so much for playing all these phone games, but or those mobile games? But no, they keep hyping it up. And this press conference they did more recently, they were talking about ray tracing. Ray tracing was expanded. Now they're showing Resident Evil Village and Resident Evil 4 Remake and all of these
Creed,
things.
Mirage, Here's the thing, right? Okay, real quick, Mr. Jolly Yellow says, I think Apple makes some attempt at getting into gaming. They've been doing this, though. Like, ever since they started releasing the M chips, they've been, toe dipping a little bit, and it keeps happening all the time. And here's the thing, when it comes to Apple hardware, right? Well, at least with the M chip stuff, it's very, very capable of playing games, right? I played Resident Evil Village on the M1 Max 16-inch MacBook Pro. This shit was running at 300 frames a second. It was crazy. But the thing is, that's a game that's optimized for the hardware, right? Most games are not optimized for our hardware. That's why they generally run like shit. So Apple, they got the hardware in place. It's just the developers aren't really jumping on board that much. They're trying, like they're talking to Kojima and shit like that. So they're trying. They are trying. It's just, I don't think they're going to be a big player like in the traditional sense. I agree with you, Carlos. Like they'll probably just be like, hey, Apple TV, it could do gaming too.
Oh, Tony.
Yeah.
Tony, this is the divergence between your thinking and my thinking. Yeah. I think this is a Miss Cleo prediction, and Adam, I can hear you typing. Apple, you mentioned the best point. They're lacking the developers to support their hardware. Not only are they going to entice developers like third-party developers like Ubisoft and Capcom to make all these games compatible to their systems. Within the next 10 years, Apple's going to acquire a big developer or a big publisher. I don't know. It'll be like a Ubisoft or EA. More like an EA than a Ubisoft.
Yeah.
They can't get Activision anymore.
Yeah. Where's the divergence, though? I kind of agree with that.
Oh, because you said that they were only going to like you said, they were only going to toe dip and just talk to developers.
No. I said they've been toe dipping so far. They have been.
Okay.
I was talking about the future. They've been toe dipping. No, because my point is like, because people are in the chat, I'm noticing like, oh, they're going to try. They're going to try. No, they've been trying. They've been trying.
Yeah.
You know, that's the point I wanted to clarify. They've been trying. But yeah,
we diverged and we came back.
Yeah, we came back. You know, the river came back. You know, but yeah. You know, we'll see. It's because again, there's a lot of money to be made in gaming. Apple wants a piece of that pie. You know, apple pie. But you know, again, they need developers on board, man. They need because when games are actually optimized for the hardware, it's great. But when they're not optimized, no.
And the hardware is great.
The hardware is fantastic. You know, it's just a matter of
Would anybody
optimization.
buy Apple hardware?
What happened?
Would anybody buy Apple gaming hardware?
But again, they're not. I don't believe they're going to put out a console. It's just going to be like, you know, play games on your laptop, play games on your, you know,
Apple TV.
Mini, yeah, or whatever. You know, I don't think they're going to release a dedicated console. I don't see that happening.
I mean, it costs $1,200 if they did.
It probably would. This is Apple. You know. I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah,
play your games and FaceTime at the same time.
Yeah, so obviously we're not going to predict 10 years down the line. It's fucking crazy. For 5 years down the line, I think we made a pretty good prediction of what's going to happen. You know, we shall see. Stay tuned. All right.
Kishak mentions Apple has no IP. Yeah, that is true, but they also didn't have movie IPs or TV show IPs in the last couple of years. They got a lot.
So that may change soon. That may change.
Yeah.
It's true that Disney.
Yes.
Disney's looking for a buyer. They're looking for an IP purchaser. Apple purchases Disney's IPs. Then they would have some of the biggest IPs in the world.
Yeah,
including Lucasfilm, who is involved with video games.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, like that'd be kind of crazy if Apple managed to snag that. I mean, don't they own a portion of Disney? That was part of their deal.
They used to own
the
Pixar but Disney bought it from them years ago. It bought it from Jobs. Jobs owned it. And originally, Pixar came from Lucas. George Lucas.
Oh no! I mean, after when they bought them back, as I remember, Apple. Apple sold it back to them, but they also have shares within the Disney company or something.
Yeah, but they don't own any of the IPs. What Iger wants to do is sell off some of the TV markets, and then he possibly wants to sell off IPs and then lease them back for the parks. That's the rumor going around now. So that may be the big move Apple makes. I think before any gaming stuff, I think they would. That would be huge.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, moving on here. Manny, can you mute yourself when you're not talking? Hey, that fan. Thank you, sir. Subgata is back, people, asking questions.
Mr. Gator.
Mr. Gator.
That's a name we haven't heard in a long time.
That's right. Speaking about projecting to the future, when will Nintendo release the Switch 2? He says March. Whoa, my man's being bold right there. You know, Chris, I'm going to move over to you. When do you expect the new Switch will come out, or the successor?
I don't know if they will do a spring release again. I think it's probably next year, but I don't know if they make a move like they did with because going from the Wii U to the Switch, they're in a very different situation now than they were in 2017. 2017, they were taking a huge financial hit. They were hurting big time, and we spoke about that. We had bad predictions, Tony and myself, for the Switch, but they were still, that aside, they were in a whole different financial situation than they are now. They're in a much better financial situation now than they were back then. The Switch has sold fantastically well. It beat the Wii. They also now are leveraging the visual content deals with Universal, doing the park stuff. So you have that going for them now. They don't need to rush a system out, right, for the spring, especially a month before your fiscal year ends. It'd be much better for them to wait till the new the 2024 fiscal year starts, or 2025, and then release the system probably for holiday, right? So you'd want to do like a more traditional release of a system, like they've done in the past in the fall. but not in the spring. They're not in this dire situation where they have to like excise the old system and put something out, right? And then have a major title like Zelda be bridge both systems, right? They were in a desperate situation in 2017. That's not the case anymore. So I don't believe they will rush out a Switch 2 in March, but they probably save it for the fall.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right. Another question from Mr. Subgata. Are you guys ditching paying to play on Xbox and PlayStation? The best bang for your buck is Nintendo currently. I only signed on for a year on Nintendo, but after that, I'm done except for my PC for multiplayer and for multiplayer. I mean, Adam already did it. He already unsubscribed from PlayStation, you know? Adam,
you're muted.
You're muted. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Actually, I noticed. There you are. There you are. You're good now.
I thought I unmuted. Yeah, no, I turned it off because I'm just not using it. And once they jacked up the price, I'm like, I really don't need it. Until there's a reason to come back. Because the big first party games, I wind up getting them and just playing them. I don't wait for them to go on that PlayStation Plus service. So there's no need for it. And most of those games are single player, so I'm not using the multiplayer on it.
Yeah. Did anybody else already unsubscribe from PlayStation? Besides that?
No, I'm still paying for PlayStation, but I only have one service that I'm really paying for. I do have Game Pass, but that was a promotion I had gotten, so I have it at least for the end of the year, until the end of the year, and then after that, no more Game Pass. So I'm only really paying. I only really pay for like one of each service, one movie service, one gaming service. So.
Yeah. As the internet is very well aware, I am not subscribed to Game Pass right now. I'm still subscribed to PlayStation. I'll decide what I'm going to do by the end of the year because my subscription comes up again in January. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. Because it's one of those things, I'm like, I've been subscribed to this shit for like a decade. I'm like, it'll be weird to just let it go. But at the same time, what am I getting out of it? I'm not really getting anything.
Like, are you, like, here's the thing, like, are you playing any games specifically online on there?
Nope. No online games,
like,
and I don't see a big online game coming.
Are the PlayStation Plus like exclusives even attractive to you at all?
Nope.
It's like, the PlayStation, the free games that they have on PlayStation Plus. I feel like there's a lot less reasons to have it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Right.
Other than a rolling internet bill.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, we'll see. Anybody else thinking about ditching any of these services?
I think I will after mine runs out. Mine is stacked until I think the end of 2025. So yeah, I think after that I'll just turn it off. Again, I don't play online games, and plus, there's just no point to it.
Yeah, I'm similar with Brian. My PlayStation is stacked till I think 2024. So whenever that expires, I'll probably reconsider then. Game Pass expires in late October, and I actually might renew it for another month or so, just because xCloud would be a good thing to test somewhere. So yeah, I'll probably let them stack for a little bit and then reconsider. But yeah, I'm not into. I don't play multiplayer games that much anymore, or hardly anymore. So unless it's Elden Ring, yo man, where's that DLC?
Yeah, right.
Speaking of multiplayer, Brett, I finished the first Remnant. Me and my two buddies, we finished it over the weekend. So
hell yeah!
We're making it rain right now. Otaku man just subscribed. Thank you.
Shout out to Barry Burton who gifted the subscription.
Yeah, Brett, I'm guessing you're gonna unsubscribe from PlayStation, right? Or if you haven't already.
Yeah. My subscription is running out. It's just kind of. I mean, you might think from hearing me talk that I'm gonna kick over trash cans and be like, "Fuck this noise, I'm out." But it's more just kind of like, I see no real reason to. I'm already kind of getting Game Pass, and bundled into the Game Pass is the whole, get to play on the internet fee. So that's really all I'm paying for on PlayStation side, and I'm not playing a whole lot of multiplayer. And most of the people that I know that play multiplayer games, like Adam's a great example. Like Adam has access to an Xbox, so like it's a choice. And I'd really just rather not pay twice for it. I'll just pay monthly as needed when I need it, because I mean, it as it stands, like I'm paying for like a year and using maybe a month. Like once, maybe twice a year, a multiplayer game will come out with like the guys here, and I'll be like, "Oh, we're gonna play that." But when was the last time we all got together and like played a game as a panel, man? Like it's been a hot minute.
Monster Hunter.
No.
Yeah, Elden Ring, the Monster Hunter before
Yeah,
that.
I think the Division.
The Division, that was another one, yeah.
That shit was in New York. It wasn't
super
real.
often.
Yeah, we only do it once a year at most, and we didn't do it this year at all.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Also, by the way, one trend that I'm been following is I've been playing more on PC.
On my
and
PC?
Steam. On my PC. And I don't have that issue. Shout out to Brian because he always lets us know that. So I think I'm playing more games on Steam, and I don't have to go through that same bullshit that consoles do. Also, I do want to use this time to let everyone know that I tried Starfield on my Series X, and then I primarily been playing it mostly on my PC. Obviously, it's night and day, man. With those 60 frames, like I get like close to 70 to 80 frames per second on my PC, but on Series X it's 30. So and it's so much different. Like,
so it's working for you. Remember all that talk about the video cards and drivers?
Oh no, there's been drivers. There's been a patch.
What video card are you using? Let people know that is working.
3080, and I'm running on a ultra wide 1440p.
Nice.
That's a shit. Holy moly.
Carlos is really in that fucking space, man.
You were in this.
The CUDA course. Yes, I'm kidding. You already know.
The CUDA course.
Oh, man.
Tons.
How much wham do you have?
Oh, God.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, yeah, with Xbox Game Pass, I'm like, there's no reason for me to subscribe to that. Starfield, I'll just buy the game, So yeah, I think I'm gonna unsubscribe from PlayStation. What about you, Chris? Are you gonna unsubscribe as well?
I'll reevaluate. I think I'm stacked till late next year, and then I'll reevaluate. I may not renew Game Pass next year though.
Oh,
I'll see.
Oh, don't say that on
That's
Twitter.
the one I made. That's the one I may drop.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
All right, so there you go, man. We're gonna be saving some money in 2024. All right, last couple questions here for Black Metal Gamer. Thank you for not asking anything crazy this week. Speaking about Game Pass, perfect segue right here. Do you think anyone behind closed doors at Microsoft regrets the Game Pass model due to the platform having the lowest amount of software sales compared to the competition?
Software sales. What do you mean?
Yeah, basically, the games aren't selling as much.
Well, they wouldn't sell as much because it's on the service, so it's all about the service. Yeah. They know this. You know
it's
that
a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
go ahead, Carlos. Yeah,
you know that.
It's a double-edged sword, and we've had conversations about we don't know what makes a game successful for the most part.
On Game Pass,
at least on Game Pass, at least compared to the traditional sense. So there are developers who like it because they get that exposure, and more people will get their games, get their microtransactions, and all that stuff. Some other developers who develop games that are going to be big anyways are kind of will probably not be as happy knowing that the revenue isn't going to be exactly the same as it used to be.
What I don't understand with that is that no one's putting the gun to anyone's head. It's like, just don't put your game on the surface.
No. Well, this is like first party developers where some Microsoft has.
I don't think they can if they're getting paid. First party. I mean, I take it as.
I'm pretty sure they care one way or the other.
Well, no, they care. I don't know playing it, but when it comes to money, they're already getting paid. Game Pass isn't free for them. They get paid or X amount of money beforehand. I mean, that model that they're using is the same model that's used on Apple Music and on Spotify. Same thing. It's like certain artists make,
and the artists always complain about it.
Some of them, not all of them.
Most of them.
Some of the big ones don't. there was one not too long on a certain person that I can't talk over also. But he had talked about, he had a big artist came out and he said, they gave me X amount of money up front. And he said, hey, you're taking it now or leave. And he looked at from the sales numbers of what they would sell. And he said this was actually a few $100,000 more up front, as opposed to waiting for the label to then accumulate sales and do the math and all that. He's like, yeah, give me the money up front. So yes, for some of them it works, and some other ones it doesn't work. It's going to be like that for everything.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, it's a double-edged sword. There's going to be happy campers. There's going to be unhappy campers.
Don't get eaten by a bear in the camp.
Gotta watch out.
Or I guess you could have sex with the bear. That's what we do nowadays, right? All right. I'm going to sneak this question in here from Jay Shep. Mostly because I don't know what you're talking about. Do you guys see where Xbox and Bethesda are going after the recently released employees of the company whose name I can't remember?
You guys see where Xbox and Bethesda are going?
Unity?
I don't know.
Everybody hates Unity now because of what they're doing with the fees.
I don't understand the question.
Oh yeah.
They're charging everybody, whoever uses it.
Yeah, we talked about that on Thursday. Yeah.
Horrible. I can't believe they're getting away with that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Volition? Do you guys see where? So let me re-ask the question again. You guys see where Xbox and Bethesda are going after recently released employees of Volition? I still don't.
Oh, they're picking them up.
Are they? Is that what's happening?
Picking them up? Is that what it is?
Is that what's happening?
If that's jobs, that's all right. Whatever. Work.
No, I haven't heard about this.
Yeah, I haven't heard. Are they picking up Volition? I haven't heard that news.
I have heard as a rumor, but I don't know how true that is.
Right, so rumor,
especially after all the massive firings that Microsoft has been doing. I don't think they're going to be picking up anybody.
Yeah, not after. We said this before. Microsoft is going to chill out for a while, So whatever rumors you heard, they're probably bullshit. So don't give them any credence. All right, and the last question of the night here. We've been asked versions of this question before, but why not ask it again? What are your favorite low IQ brain dead games? Something to just turn off your mind and play. It could be modern or retro.
I'm playing this shit right now. FIFA. Thank you.
Any one of the beat 'em ups, even the Turtles one.
Yeah.
Simple and simple stuff. Just punch until everything is gone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Fun. Yeah. Again, the answer I always give to this question is I don't have one of those. I'm like, I want to play a game. What's something I don't need to think about? I don't do that.
Yeah, but I mean, you like beat 'em ups. You don't need to think about that.
But I'm not. Yeah, but I'm not going. Oh, I don't want to. I want to play something, but I don't want to think about it. Let me fire this up. I don't do that. Understand?
Street Fighter 6 also. Street Fighter games are like that. I plug in the fight stick and then just. Match.
I agree with what you're saying. Beat 'em ups are fun for brain dead stuff, but again, I generally don't go. I want to play something, but I don't want to think about anything. I don't do that. If I'm playing a game, it's for a purpose.
About fun. Fun is a purpose.
Nah, it's not a purpose. All right. Anybody else? What are your go-to games when you just want something fun to play?
Oh yeah, it's funny. I did play that. What's it called? Thunder Ray. That's kind of a brainless game.
The retro boxing game, Super Punch Out.
What do you think? Punch Out. It's pretty good. Very short. Very short. Like way shorter than Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Yeah, I heard it. Short. I'm sick.
But it's this year seems to be the year of this, and next year seems to be the year of the Punch Out like. Because when I was at what was it? Was that PAX? Literally, there was a game that was on display there called Big Boy Boxing, and that was like a Punch Out like, but same ideas, but just like way better animated, like stupid, like almost like Cuphead animation.
Oh, all right, cool. Yeah. We need that. It's been a drought for those type of boxing games.
Mm-hmm.
Barry Bird says there are no dumb games, only dumb players. #GetGood. Fuck, I'll go down the line here. Chris, do you have any games you just fire up just for fun?
Yeah, but I have fun playing like
Resident Evil.
Say
it.
And Resident Evil 4, like, yeah.
I replayed
3
times.
Yeah. I went to because I was getting the platinum. But I have fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
For the funsies.
No. I have fun playing them too. But yeah, but the reason you saw me playing it so often was I was going for the platinum.
Yeah,
Same
but
thing
I
with
guess
porn.
it's more like turn off your brain games.
No, I don't.
I mean, once you've already sort of the cycle of like a game, or sort of does become a game, turn off your brain type of game.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
it's like a game where like I'm gonna play it, but I'm not focused on the story, so I don't have to pay attention to that.
You don't need to watch all the cinematics anymore,
Or it's not super hard like a Souls game where I have to, try to figure out all the combinations or the combos for this or or the puzzles. Like for me, it's like Awesome Knots used to be that game.
Let's say like grinding in an RPG could also be a bit no-brainy.
Yeah, that could also be that too.
Yeah, no, for real. But I'm not gonna go. Oh, I want to mindlessly do something. Let me dust off Final Fantasy VII. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's not a go-to game for that.
I mean, usually, if anything, it's the game that you're currently playing.
Yeah, it has to be that. But I think the question is more like,
grinding.
what is your go-to game? But like I said, I don't have any go-to games. Real quick, not to change the topic here. Unity just released a statement a few hours ago. The way these things always be, we have heard you. We apologize for the confusion and angst of runtime fee policy we announced on Tuesday cost. We are listening, talking to our team members, community customers, and partners, and we'll be making changes to the policy. We will share an update in a couple of days. Thank you for your honest and critical feedback. So there you go.
They were going to charge for even reinstalls.
Yep.
Yeah, those guys literally, they weren't reading the room.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, Adam, one of the things we talked about on Thursday, which was what I thought would happen, is like you can let's say you want to hurt a developer, right? You could cost them that campaign and go, okay, guys, re-download the game a bunch of times and cost them to pay a bunch of money.
Yeah, exactly.
The fucking gamers would do shit like that too.
These idiots did not bother to think of any of that shit when they did this policy. They're just looking at getting some money out of people. Why are you charging people for every single time a game is installed? That's fucking stupid.
Dumb.
That is crazy.
Dumb.
And what kind of DRM are you putting inside of your engine now that allows for that?
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid.
That's dumb.
They're probably addressing it now because literally a bunch of companies who they make money off of said, "Oh yeah, we're closing the door on these guys. We're done."
Yeah.
They literally stopped their revenue.
Anyway, any other brain dead games you guys want to toss in there?
I'll tell you who's brain dead. That idiot who from EA who's the head of Unity.
Yeah, Riccatello, right?
Fucker. Yeah, fire that motherfucker and get some money.
Oh man.
What do you guys think Starfield is?
You think that's a brain dead game? Is that your go-to brain dead game though?
No, you gotta think, you gotta strategize and stuff. You gotta think about your answers and shit.
You kind of don't need to, especially if you're not doing the story, right, Brett? If you're just sort of dicking around in the universe, that doesn't need any.
That is the key. There is so much potential in all Bethesda games to just kind of dick around, especially like Fallout games. So I was like, what are you doing? I'm just gonna fucking dick around and shoot some guys and get some stuff for my settlement. And, it's I know that a lot of people are not gonna like this, but no, they're not difficult or hard games. You don't have to strategize all that hard. You can brute force. Even the lockpicking mini games are just simple, put the square block in the square hole. It's none of it is really super difficult. You can just lay there baked out of your mind or half drunk or whatever your profession or personal form of self-retardation is, and still make it through the game just fine. It's you just kind of move forward and react to stuff, and that's Bethesda game right there. Whereas dude, Baldur's Gate, there are legitimately some days where I had to look at Baldur's Gate and be like, I do not have the mental capacity to do Baldur's Gate right now. because I have to weigh all my choices and be tactical, and then everything that happens is going to have super long-lasting repercussions. Like, not just even now, but like 30 hours from now, I'll be like, oh shit, I did make that decision, didn't I? I don't want all that weight on me. I just, I want to, like, if I do something wrong, this person frowns at me and it says, so-and-so didn't like that. My faction reputation drops a little bit, whatever. I just move on with my life. Yeah, I think all Bethesda games and their infinite potential to just kind of fuck around are, the best brain-dead games of just, like, I don't know, man, I'm just going to, like, if you told me I was going to have surgery and I was going to be laid up in bed, doped up on painkillers and half dumb for the next 6 weeks, I'd be like, give me a Bethesda game. Because, that's all. Just kind of zone out and move forward and react to shit. Easy peasy, man.
Nice. All right, anybody else? I'm going to take that as a no, so we'll start wrapping up here. Good episode. Do we have anything to plug? Adam, looking at you, man.
We just uploaded another episode of I Am Negan for Walking Dead Daryl Dixon episode 2. So that is out there over on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and of course Coalition. So that's myself, Richard Bailey Jr. and Carlos Romero. So check it out. It's great. I love the show so far. It's the best spin-off since Mothership. Probably better than the latest seasons of Mothership. So I'm happy. I'm happy it's working out, and they didn't change things up
Adam.
with Daryl, but they definitely improved on storytelling and the environment.
Would you say this is it?
This is it? Well, I don't know if this is it, but we'll see. See?
No,
the nuke.
Yeah, the nuke. No. We don't got no nukes. But that's coming back, though. We got Fear the Walking Dead, the last part. Yeah, Fear. Last part, last season. That's coming up.
Good stuff.
But yeah, no, that's out there. Check it out.
Oh, man. As for me, I will have my review of Cyberpunk DLC Phantom Liberty on September 20th. But bonus, I'm actually going to re-review the entire game for Tom's Guide. Because our previous review was when the game first came out, 2 out of 5 stars for obvious reasons. So I'm going to review the game as it exists now, because I played it at launch, replayed it again last year, the whole new game, and I beat Phantom Liberty. So I will be prepared for probably one of my longest game reviews in years. So it's going to be pretty nuts. So
the old Tony is arising.
I don't know. Well, you mean like original one? Because I stopped doing long game reviews like maybe 7 years ago when I realized I don't want to read all that shit. But it's going to be, because I have to pretty much review 2 games in one right now, which also means.
Yeah, but Tony,
what's up?
Is it like what is it 1 out of 10 though?
I don't know, man. It's a good question.
I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you, man.
Yeah. No, I know. Again, I've always said, yes, it is ironic that I hate review scores with a passion, yet I have to fucking use them, But I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I still fucking hate review scores. They're shit, but I got to use them because people like them, But read the review, please. Don't just look at the top and be like, oh, okay, Look at the bullet points and shit. But yeah, it'll be probably my biggest game review of the year. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I can't say more than that. People, by the way, again, I talked about this on Thursday. I'll say it again. I saw one dude. He actually gave his opinion on the fucking game. Like, bro, you realize you're breaking embargo, right? You can just say you have to, because the embargo for saying that you have the game lifted on the 14th. My man said, like, oh, it's blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what are you doing? You're just supposed to say you got the game, And this is a journalist, too. This isn't some fucking skeezy influencer doing this shit. So, I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, I think that's it for us. So make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Join the Discord where the conversations and the rumors are always popping. You can also find us on any podcast app by searching for Throwdown Show. That's 2 words, Throwdown Show, throwdownshow.com. So listen to past episodes. And if you have been watching us on YouTube and enjoyed the videos, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when our premieres go live. Links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco. And tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Man, fuck my TV.
Oh no. Adam Vale.
Have a good week, everybody. Don't get hit by a car. Thank you.
You know, Brett Murdoch.
Deuces.
And Brian Manjoma.
And happy 10th birthday to GTA 5.
Oh man, that's right. 10 years.
Oh,
what's up?
who's gonna pay
17.
$100 for GTA 6?
Yeah, $150. Yeah,
I still don't believe that.
yeah. We talked about that a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't. If anything, it might be like some super special edition type shit, and almost all of these big companies have done it. Give you a toy or some shit.
Yeah. Right. Well, shout out to everybody in the chat right now. They say they like the show. Yeah, man. We bring the heat on Throwdown, you know?
Heat.
Dylan.
Dylan is the island of Dylan. Who are the best 5 rappers in the world? Think about it. Dylan, and Dylan. He's like Speed Hot Fire.
I missed that. Dude. What happened?
Too close, man. Too close. How you gonna choke a legend? All right, people. See you on Thursday. Later.
Peace.
Avita Sane.